And now for something completely different. Hi, it's John, and welcome to Cycling on a Shoestring, and welcome to my kitchen. And of course, it is something a little bit different today, but we're going to talk about cycling. In particular, we're going to talk about refueling while you're out on your bike. And let's face it, you've got a lot of different options when it comes to doing that. I often think of the banana, which is sort of the cyclist food. How often have you been out maybe on the trail and you see a banana sticking out of somebody's hydration pack or the back of a jersey when you're out on a road ride? But bananas aren't always around the house, so I have to fall back on energy bars. And over the years, I have fallen back on Clif Bars. I cannot tell you how many Clif Bars I have eaten over the years. A mountain of Clif Bars. And I think I've been eating Clif Bars for almost as long as Clif Bar has been in existence. And quite frankly, I can't say that I've ever really liked eating these things, but they give me the energy I need, the carbohydrates, the calories I need to keep me going when I'm out on a long ride. I am through with Clif Bars. Sorry, Clif, but I've tried them all. I'm sick of them, and I want to try something else. I've often joked, because they're not all that appealing to look at, that if there were a nuclear war, cockroaches and Clif Bars would be the only thing that survived. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to look at some alternatives to eating regular energy bars. And people have always said, John, make your own bars. So I came up with a recipe. I've got the ingredients right here to make it. It's a non-cook energy bar recipe, which I'm going to do here. It won't take very long to make them. But first, I had to find out what was in the bars so I could come up with a good homemade energy bar to make sure I got all the energy I needed when I was out on my bike. When it came to making my own energy bars, I wanted something that was similar to what I was already using, something that had an average in a number of different categories when it came to the nutritional values. I went online and I looked for the top energy bars for cycling and came across the Cycling Weekly website, and they had 7 different bars, one of which was the Clif Bar, which is what I eat. I looked for similar size bars because some of these companies make larger ones, and these are all similar in size, and I looked at calories, carbs, sugar, protein, and fat. I was also looking for potassium because that's listed on the Clif Bar, but most of them don't have that listed on the labels of their bars. It may be on their website, but I didn't find that. I also just chose randomly from different bars, so some of these companies have different bars and some of these numbers and these categories will be different. And I came up with an average overall by looking at all 7 of these bars. The average size was 56 grams, calories 210, carbs 31, sugar 16, protein 8.5 grams, and fat at 6 grams. So again, when I'm making my own bars, I'm looking for something sort of in this wheelhouse so that I've got a bar that's going to work for me when I'm out on the road. Here's what you're going to need if you want to make these particular energy bars. Now, there are lots of recipes out there. As I said, this is a non-cook recipe. There are ones you can cook as well. And in many cases, you can substitute things you like better. Raisins I'm putting in this one. You could put dates in yours or something like that as well. But this is basically what you need. So you're going to need a 9 by 13 inch pan, which we're going to have to grease before we put all the ingredients in. We've got 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. We're going to put 1 cup of honey in. We've got 4 cups of oats, 1 cup of chopped walnuts, a half cup of raisins, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So those are your ingredients for this. So not a lot here. I bought all of this at the Bulk Barn, and I got this recipe at tasteofhome.com. So what I'm going to do, let's put it all in the pan, and then I'll put it in the fridge for 1 hour. That's all it needs. They suggest an hour or overnight so they can cool down. We'll give them a test, and it'll give you some of the nutritional information on these bars as well, and maybe some other alternatives if you want to find an energy bar. Let's start this recipe, and what I'll do is I'll put the recipe, the link to that, in the description below so you can check it out or maybe try it yourself. Of course, again, I said there are so many different recipes online for this. I've greased the 9 by 13 pan, and I've taken the peanut butter and the honey and put it into this large bowl right here. They suggest you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds or so. I put it in about 50 seconds to make it a little more smooth, mix them together, the honey and the peanut butter, and then put it into the 9x13. So we'll do that now. And I love peanut butter and honey, and I love peanut butter and honey sandwiches, so that's a good start with it. And then they say put all the rest of the ingredients in, mix them around, and then basically what you do is you throw it. There's your raisins. You got your walnuts. I'm putting walnuts in here. You probably could use something else if you like different nuts. A little bit of salt, and then you've got your oats, and they're your largest volume here. But you mix this all together, and then I'll throw it in the refrigerator for a bit. I'm going to mix this really well together, and we'll see how it works out. When I get this mixed, we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. So it's taken a little bit to get this incorporated, to get it all mixed in nicely. Of course, you've got all those oats in there, so you kind of want to keep stirring it around until they all get moist with that peanut butter and the honey. But I think I've got it mixed pretty good here. Now it says just to basically pat it down until you get it kind of, even across the bottom of this pan. We'll do that right now. You just want to lightly do that according to the recipe. And the recipe isn't all that hard, really. It's pretty simple. If you want, you can do cooked ones as well. But basically, that's what they want you to do right there. So what I'll do now is I'll put this in my refrigerator for an hour, maybe a little longer, so that it gets cooled down. Then I'll see if you can cut it up into bars. We'll give it a taste and might have some other options for you if you're looking for an energy bar. My energy bars have just come out of the fridge. I've had them in there about an hour and 30 minutes or so, and they're pretty darn cold. So let's see if I can cut these up into bars and see if they'll stay together, give them a taste, and see if this is something that's going to be a good option for you if you're going out on a bike ride. Let's give this a try. I've been wondering if these would come out of the pan intact because it seemed like there was a lot of oats in here. But let's give it a try. And I'm going to cut these up, I think, into about 12 bars. So let's do that right now. See if it works out. Seems pretty solid. Didn't seem that way when it went into the fridge, but I don't know. It could be a little crumbly. So I want to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me turn it this way to make it easier. And when I'm done cutting these, we'll give them a try. So I've got it all cut. Let's see if I can get one out of here intact. I'm wondering if that's going to be an issue. Hey, not too bad. It came out pretty good. So let's just move the camera right now. I'll give it a taste test, and then I think I might have some other options for you if you're looking for something new when it comes to energy bars on your bike. I've got my bar. Came out pretty good. It does feel a little bit crumbly, but maybe leaving it in the fridge a little bit longer will make it a little more solid, but it's still pretty cold. Let's give it a try and see if it's pretty tasty. It's actually pretty good. It's very tasty. I was concerned that the oats would be too dry, but they've soaked up a little bit of that honey and the peanut butter as well, and it tastes really good. I mean, it's very tasty. Really like the raisins in there, and again, you could substitute something else in there if you like dates or another type of fruit, maybe like cranberries. But it is really tasty. Now, my concern about this is, and I've been thinking about this a little bit, is you've got honey, you've got peanut butter as sort of your liquids in this. Now, you're going to have to wrap this up maybe in some cellophane. Now, what happens to this if you put this in your jersey pocket or maybe in your hydration pack, and you go out on a day when it's 30 Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit, and you're hot as well if you've got it in your jersey pocket? This could end up being a gooey mess by the time you try to take it out of your jersey. that could be a real issue. In fact, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Overall, it is really tasty though. I mean, I would eat this as a snack for sure. Might be a little bit of an issue if you go out on your bike. Maybe I'll do another video on it, and I'll try one of these on one of my rides this week. Overall, this is a winner. Tastes good, but I think it will be an issue if you get on a hot day. That honey and that peanut butter is going to get really messy, and you're not going to have a good time of it with peanut butter and honey on your hands and on your cycling gloves when you're out on the road. Let me sum things up when it comes to this recipe I did. First of all, this is a real winner when it comes to taste. My wife tasted it as well. She thought it was great. She had the same concern that it would get a little bit messy on a warm day on a bike. It's also a little bit crumbly, but leaving it in the fridge a little longer or maybe even freezing it might be a good idea. Now, when it comes to something like this, I paid about $20 for all the ingredients on this. And so this bar, if you have 12 of them, comes out to about $1.73 per bar. Going back to what I was talking about earlier with my Clif Bars, if you get the cheapest price of these and you buy them in a box of 12, you're paying about $1.33 for a Clif Bar. Now you do have some alternatives here, and there's some good alternatives that you can buy at the store. For instance, you can pick up something like this. Got these at Costco, $10.97 for a box of 24, and they come in 3 different flavors. This is the fig flavor, but they also come in raspberry and blueberry. And if you break these down, they're exactly the same nutritional value as any of the bars that I showed you earlier on, including the Clif Bar, with the exception of the protein. It's a little bit lower, but these come in at about 45 cents per serving. So they're pretty cheap and they're already wrapped up. Another alternative for you are these, which I just love, fig bars. These are no-name fig bars, $2.50 for this whole package. There's 18 in here. And if you have 3 of these and you wrap them up in some cellophane, put them on your jersey, they're the equivalent, once again, of all of those energy bars I showed you earlier. They taste great, but again, a little lower on the protein side. So if you're looking for more protein, you can always find energy bars that have more protein. 42 cents a serving for these though. So you throw another one in, your protein goes up, and you're good to go. So lots of alternatives out there, including making your own. But if you're looking for something that's inexpensive with great quality when it comes to nutrition, you can go with something like this. Hey, listen, I had a lot of fun with this. Thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that as well. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're working our way to 600 subscribers. Ring the bell as well for notifications. You can also follow me on Instagram at Cycling on a Shoestring. Still trying to figure it out completely, but I've been putting things up regularly on my Instagram account. Again, thanks so much for watching. See you next time on Cycling on a Shoestring.